Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you believe to be real, began in the unseen. Before there was form, there was thought. Before there was action, there was intention. And before there was matter, there was mind. This is the first Hermetic principle, the principle of mentalism. It states that all is mind. The universe itself is a mental projection, not metaphorically, not symbolically, but literally. What we call reality is an emanation of consciousness. You're not a body with a mind. You are a mind experiencing itself through the illusion of form. This isn't just ancient poetry or mystical theory. It's echoed in quantum physics, in consciousness studies, in the strange, unexplainable coincidences we brush off every day. And yet, the principle of mentalism goes deeper than that. It implies that your thoughts are not inside your head. They're the very fabric of your reality. Every belief you hold, every assumption you've inherited, every silent story you repeat to yourself, they aren't just shaping your life. They are your life. But here's the part no one tells you. Your mind isn't really yours until you take it back. From the time you were born, your mental field has been infiltrated, not just by commercials or politics, but by the expectations of your parents, the fears of your teachers, the social rules. No one questions, but everyone obeys. You were handed a mental map of the world before you could even read, and most people never stop to question it. They walk through life inside someone else's projection, mistaking it for their own. The Hermetic masters understood this long ago. They didn't preach dogma. They trained their minds like warriors. They knew the mind was both the prison and the key. What you believe, you become. What you hold in attention, you give power. What you reject without understanding, you repeat without knowing. When the Hermetic texts say, all is mind, they're saying you're inside a dream you're partly writing and partly reacting to, until you awaken as the dreamer. Mentalism doesn't mean you can wish things into existence with affirmations. It means your inner state sets the blueprint for your outer experience. Think of your mind as the projector and the world as the screen. If the picture looks broken, distorted, or painful, changing the screen won't help. You have to go back to the real. You have to examine the beliefs, fears, and assumptions that live behind the scenes of your thoughts. That's where your power is. Not in controlling outcomes, but in mastering the source from which all outcomes flow. You may not have chosen the first thoughts you were programmed with, but you can choose the next ones. You can clear the clutter and choose clarity. You can question your reactions, not just obey them. And you can reframe your reality by recognizing it for what it really is, a living mirror of your mental state. Every limitation you feel, every pattern you repeat, every block you hit, it's not just happening to you, it's arising through you. And when you understand that, the rules of your life begin to dissolve. To live this principle is to become sovereign. It means no longer outsourcing your sense of self to external validation, no longer reacting to the world as if it holds your meaning hostage. When you remember that the all is mind, and that you are of the all, you stop begging for power. You realize you were it the whole time. You've been told you're separate from the divine. That was the first lie. From the moment you could speak, you were handed a story that God was distant, the universe was indifferent, and you were here by accident, just a body moving through time. But somewhere deep inside, that story never quite settled. There was a quiet knowing you couldn't explain, a pull towards something ancient, something true, not religion, not dogma, something older than both, something that whispered in symbols, in synchronicities, in silence. That whisper was Hermeticism. For centuries, these teachings were hidden in plain sight, woven into sacred texts, etched into stone, encrypted in myth, not because they were irrelevant, but because they were dangerous. Because once you understand how reality really works, no one can control you again. This isn't about belief, it's about knowing, and the keys have always been within reach.